Hi, I'm Elizabeth Sutton and I'm a CRM at Capital Body Corporate Administration. Today we're talking about storms and we're talking to Daniel Green from Greeny's Plumbing Solutions. Thanks for joining us, Daniel.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
So we've just got a few questions we're going to run through about storm season to help owners maintain their buildings. So Daniel, what month should owners start preparing for storm season?
So storm season usually runs from between about October through until February. So you want to try and get in either side of storm season. So get preventative maintenance done before October and get everything cleaned up after we have all the storms, the good old Queensland summer storms. So get that done after that.
And what sort of signs do we look for in the maintenance leading up to that?
So any sort of overhanging branches, leaves, debris, anything over stormwater pits and channels, grates, anything like that, front driveway pits, anything that just looks blocked, or if you have a lot of trees around the building and you think that there's a good chance that they're probably all over your roof, probably a good thing to get it cleaned and contact your body corporate.
What's the best thing to do in a storm when you're getting a roof leak?
So best thing to do is evaluate how bad the leak is. So if it's just something of a minor nature, bucket underneath it and just monitor the leak, get in contact with your body corporate. If it's something that is bulging the ceiling and causing a decent sort of pool inside the ceiling space, get a decent bucket or container underneath it, and you can use a pin or a nail or a screw, something like that, just to pierce through the gyprock, and it will release the pressure out. And then you can also get a gauge of how badly the roof leak is coming through there after that pressure's been released.
How does an owner know what is their responsibility compared to what is body corporate? And as strata managers, we know the difference between building format plans and standard format plans, and most owners do know what they've brought into. But in that case, Daniel, when you go out to a building and you've got a building format plan, do you kind of relay that back to the owner, what's their responsibility and what's body corporate?
Yeah, so we pretty much can attend site, do an assessment, work out where a leak is happening, and access the roof space, find that out, and then we can relay the information to a tenant or owner, and then we can relay information back to our body corporate manager and get some information for the building to determine if it is a BFP or a standard format plan, and we can go from there in terms of repairs.
And what are some common plumbing issues in storms?
Obviously the most common one being a roof leak. It seems like every roof in Brisbane is leaking at the moment. As soon as we get a bit of rain, it all comes out. Usually always through penetration, skylights, damage, or rusted roof spaces. So all things that just need regular maintenance. And
I guess downpipes too, if they're not cleaned or flushed, they can back up.
So pretty much any sort of maintenance that you can do. Roofing, guttering, downpipes, making sure that all is flowing. That there's no sneaky possum stuck in a downpipe somewhere, because they do cause a pretty bad blockage. Yeah,
absolutely. So moving on to just normal common plumbing issues, what's some other things that owners can look at?
So obviously a big one at the moment is flexible hoses for us, so braided hoses. We're getting a lot of burst flexible hoses lately, and it's just due to people not being aware that they do need to be maintained and changed at somewhat regular intervals, because if you don't, it's such a big cost to the body corporate and yourself, just to pay for the damage for a hose that's probably less than $10.
And should owners also carry out individual pressure tests within their units, regularly,
it's usually everything's pretty good. If they have any suspicion that they might be getting a higher water bill or any sort of special little green patch on the front lawn outside, what you can do is you can go to your water meter, not use anything in the inside your lot for about a 5-minute period, and just keep an eye on the dial. If the dial is moving on the water meter, you've got a leak. If the dial's not moving, then there's no water losing out of the main.
Thanks, Daniel, for joining us today. It's been really great and lots of information. Would you like to pass on your details to the owners?
Yep, so any emergencies or any maintenance that you may have, please feel free to give us a call 24/7 on 3188 3222, and we can get to you as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you.